Hello, folkers. I'm Copper Kelly.
And I'm Jodie Lucas, and you're welcome to the Folkin Around podcast.
Your favourite country music podcast. And Joe, tell the listeners, who did we talk to this week?
So this week we were joined by the wonderful Jamie Donnelly. She was an absolute delight to have on, wasn't she?
She was. I'm super jealous about the guitar that she got. Her father bought her a guitar. It cost about as much as a car. We talked about that a little bit. And we also talked about her history in music and I think she said her uncle is in the Whistling Paddies or the Whistling Donkeys, I meant to say. All this kind of, we should talk a lot about this kind of stuff. And it's a very good interview. I suppose, do you want to say anything before we dive straight in?
No, just as I say, it's a good, interesting interview, and it's nice to bring these younger singers on to let people sort of hear a bit more about them and not just their music. Yeah,
exactly. That's the whole point of this podcast, kind of get to know the people behind the songs and get to know the people. But without further ado, we'll get to the interview and we'll talk to you after.
So this week we are joined by the beautiful Jamie Donnelly. Jamie, you're very welcome and thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. How are you?
Oh, we're very well, thank you. Very, very well. Good. And for anybody listening in on the audio or watching us on our YouTube channel that may not have met you before, Jamie, why don't you give them a little brief background of who you are?
My name's Jamie Donnelly and I'm 20 years old and I'm from a small town in County Tyrone called Strabane in the north of Ireland, and I'm currently a student at Queen's University in Belfast and I'm studying music as well, so I live and breathe music. But that's about me at the minute, just struggling on, I suppose, with the times we're in.
Mm. And so take us back, Jamie. When did your love of music first start?
I've always, I think it was I was around just starting primary school, 5 or something. But I was more into pop music and all. My first CD I bought was Cascada or something. If I used to dance floor or something.
Wow.
And I used to dance a lot, and this was before I knew I could sing. I was a dancer first, so I went to dance classes and all, and then I went to acting. And I was always heavily involved in music within schools, and I went to a drama school called Much Ado in Castleberg. And there was a song in one of the High School Musical movies. I think it was I Gotta Go My Own Way or something.
Yeah.
And I was singing that around the house, and my daddy was like, Marie, she's able to sing, Marie's mum. And from then, I've just always been singing and keeping at it. And I play the violin and the guitar as well. So I'm all musical anyway. I was always involved in the choirs and orchestras and anything to do with music. So.
And were you quite a musical family growing up?
Not really, my mummy and daddy, none of them play music or none of them have a note in their head or anything. Do you know the Whistling Donkeys?
Yeah.
Fergal would be on my daddy's side. He would be daddy's cousin. So that's the only musical connection I have. My sister was always involved in choirs and stuff, but she would never sing or anything herself. So
you didn't have the growing up of going to the Irish dances and jiving and things like that?
No, not really. As I say, I was more into pop music and stuff. But when I started learning guitar, that's when Daddy always played music, but I didn't really get into it till I started doing it myself, kind of country music. So I was 10 when I started learning guitar. So no, I didn't really go to... I went to the odd concert, but I didn't go to many dances or anything like that.
And when did that love of country come?
As I say, it was when I started playing guitar. The first song I sang was Country Roads, and I remember we learned it in the key of G, and it was far too high for me. I was screeching it. I could only sing the verse, and I kept repeating it. And I was so used that I could play and sing at the same time. And then I had to get the capo and all then, and I was able to sing it in the right key. But I just, from then, it was R.G. Caterson, the late R.G. Caterson taught me. And that's when I got into country music.
Yeah. And you're studying music in Belfast, you said.
I am, great,
pushback from your family thinking, oh, I'm going to go study music now? And were they thinking, oh, maybe you should go study accountancy or something? Anything like that?
I think they've always known I was going to end up in music. Like they were always supportive, to be fair, no matter what I do. But there was no real doubt in their minds either. Like it was just always music was what I was going to do. But I was going to originally I was going to do a musical theatre course in London, but I wanted to keep my options open a bit because I didn't really want to move away. Like Belfast is only about an hour or an hour and a half from where I live, so it's not too far away. But I wanted to do the course I'm doing is like a general music course, so I could go off and teach, for example, if I wanted after. But if I was to do the musical theatre kind of course, I couldn't do that. So that's where I'm at the minute. But no, they've always been supportive anyway, like no matter what I do. But they knew it was going to be music.
And I know when we've spoken before, you've said that no matter what type of music you would tend to turn your hand to, people would always feed back that you're a country voice.
I know, like even uni or in composition last year, we all had to like make up a song or whatever, and I sang away, and like my lecturer didn't know I sang country music, and he's like, you have a real like strong country voice, and I was like, oh well, I sing country music. So that's a good sign.
There's
something right, obviously.
I know.
And is there any other type of music? I know you obviously record and release country music, but is there any other type of music that you would like to release a song in someday, even just for your own fun?
I love folk music.
Yeah.
I definitely love folk as well, so maybe something along that. But like I would do anything. I just love music as a whole. Do you know what I mean? Like somebody was texting the last day to do some sort of techno thing, and I was like, you know what? I have to do anything. Why not?
And obviously, we will talk about, obviously last night you had your album launch, but when did you start thinking, this is it, I'm going to release music? When did that come along?
This is a tough one. This is no joke, right? So obviously I was 10 when I started playing guitar and singing away, and I recorded my first EP in 2016, so I was 16. So I was always singing and practicing away and that kind of thing. And like I always dreamed of doing it, but I never thought that I would record and like, do you know what I mean? Do what I'm doing now. Like I always thought it was
just a side thing. Yeah.
Far
a
away.
hobby.
I think I'm not thinking about it yet. And then my daddy was just like, do you want to record? And I was like, okay, I do. And he rang up the studio and I was like, we're going on next week. And I was like, what?
And how old were you at this point?
I was 15 or 16. Because I went, my birthday's in July, and we started, recorded the first track in November of 2016. Wow. So I must have been 15 or 16, I know. Mad.
How did you take to the studio environment? Did you have a good producer to kind of talk you through it and help you through the
I did. I went to the Strabane in the Blue Room recording studio in County Sligo, and the first song I sang was Together You and I by Dolly Parton, and I just loved it. I love recording.
Such a tune anyway.
People would always say like, oh, they hate the studio part of like the recording part, and I love it. That's probably my highlight of the like producing the album, even picking the songs and designing the cover. Like I love recording. I love being in the studio. Like so.
Yeah.
And obviously, as we touched on there, you've just released your second album, isn't it? And this obviously won't come out till a little bit later, but on the day of recording, it's the morning after, I guess, of the night before. So talk us through what happened last night.
You know what? It was just great. It was great to see people, but oh my God, you get singing behind that band was just unreal. David James, Patricia McGuire and Jason McGilligan joined me, and the Matrimony Band did the backing, and it was just brilliant. Like everything ran smoothly, thank God. And there was 180 people that got tickets, I think. So for my first proper concert or event. Like, it was just amazing seeing that many people supporting me. And I was looking today, there's that many messages, I haven't been able to get back to them yet, but there was like over 1,000 comments and that.
Wow.
The live stream, I was like, oh, I'll be here all day trying to but it's here. I'm so grateful that people took the time to comment, like, and they did seem to enjoy it. So that's definitely a plus, because I had a ball, like, it was great.
Obviously, it's disappointing that you couldn't do that in person, but I guess it opens up to people being further away that wouldn't necessarily be able to travel to wherever, you know, taking the pros with it, I guess.
Absolutely. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, I don't even know, because I'm such, like, I'm only really getting, like, started, like, as being a proper artist and stuff. I was, like, when I was making the album, I was always, like, worried. Like, I was like, I'm going to have to do a launch. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if many will come and all this here. But, like, there were so many people last night tuning in from all over the world. Like, so that obviously would never happen if it was, like, a standard concert. So, you know what I mean? It does have its pros as well, or there's positive things with it as well.
You have a much wider reach to a much bigger audience.
Absolutely, yeah.
What were some of the countries that people were coming from, watching from? Do you know off the top of your head?
Well, there was a lot in England, and I think there was somebody from Nashville and Scotland.
Some talent scout, I'm sure.
I know, mad.
And have you had much experience of actually being out on the road with the band?
I've done a lot of, like, when I was younger, I did a lot of, like, charity gigs. So I've been backed by a good few bands. Like, I've worked with the Ryan Turner band before, Celtic Storm. Oh, I can't even think offhand, but I've had, like, good experience. And, like, even when I was in school, like, a few of my friends got together and we did a gig as well, and they backed me. And I've had loads of experience working with musicians, but no, last night was just amazing. Like, it's such a good band. There was Stevie Hamilton on steel and James Mullen on bass, and then Declan O'Hare played guitar, and Barry Kerwin played the drums. And he had a heart attack.
I know. I saw that on your post. I was like, Barry, wow.
I know. I was going up the road last night, and I seen Barry Kerwin tagged you in the story, and I thought, oh my God, he's supporting me. And then I seen, can't wait to get behind the kit. I was like, what? But he played, and then Brian Kerrigan played on the keyboard. But no, the sound was amazing. Like, my head's buzzing today, though. I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
Is it something you think you'd like to do, is get your own band together to get out on the road eventually?
Absolutely. I like the adrenaline. I couldn't even get to sleep last night. I was just not much of a high. But like, that's what I was saying today too. Like, I think I announced that I was doing the launch like the start of March, and then there's only the one concert and then it's all over. Like, I had done a lot of like musicals and stuff, and you have like your 4 or your 5 nights of the show. You have your opening night and then you're finishing. Like, it was just all last night. No, I haven't booked it later today, but it was brilliant. Like, I loved every minute of it.
It's hard to come down off a live, that buzz from playing live.
I know.
So
I know. It's why, like, well, that was the first time, like, as I say, like, I've been backed by bands, but it was just doing like spots. Like, I would have been singing like 3 or 4 songs, but last night I sang 15 songs, I think. So that was like my first proper go with a band. And all.
I suppose you can talk today after that.
I know. My throat's a bit sore, but struggling on.
Oh, bless you.
Can I ask you about your guitar? I noticed that you're playing an emerald guitar, and I'm a guitar head myself. I have about 10, 11 guitars or something like that. You probably see a few in the background there. But I know those guitars, you could buy a good used car for less than you'd pay for one of those guitars. So how did you come to owning it, or how did you end up picking an emerald?
Well, I used to play a wee black Yamaha. That's not about it, but the input on it, like, I don't know, it was fused or whatever you describe it, wouldn't work anyway. So I knew I had to get a new guitar, and my daddy was like, "Oh, what one do you want?" And I was all, "Oh, I want a dark brown one." Like, not even thinking about a brand. I was like, "Oh, I think I might go like a dark brown for a change." Yeah. And I
such a girly answer, isn't it? Like, I just want a pretty one.
That's right. And I came home from school and it was sitting there, and I didn't even understand the value of it. Like even until now, like oh my god, like it's literally my pride and joy. I'll have it forever. Like
beautiful guitar.
It holds a great sound too, like because it's not wooden, it's carbon fiber.
Yeah. So
it doesn't lose its tune. Like I could pick it up and the tuning would be perfect on it. Like so. Yeah. Love it.
Would you bring that out gigging now? Because I'd be terrified to bring that guitar out with me gigging, just in case something happened to it, or someone knocked against it, or someone robbed it, or whatever. What would you?
I give people ideas.
No, but just it can happen. Like even a fancy looking guitar like that.
I bring it everywhere with me every time, and even like pub gigs and all. Because like somebody says to me, "Why are you bringing that good guitar out?" I was like, "Oh, sure, that's what it's for. It's to be played." So
that's true.
And obviously, you play the violin as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I asked you this before, but I'm going to ask you again because it's a question that comes in all the time. Obviously, with country music, people play the fiddle. What's the difference between a violin and a fiddle?
Well, this is me now saying, but there's no physical difference in the actual instrument, but there's obviously different styles of playing, or like the way you hold it, or a fiddle would be more like traditional music and that kind of end, and then a violin people would say for classical. Like I done all my grades and all in school for the violin, so that's why I call it the violin. I don't do much traditional music, but I definitely love to get in. Like it would be great, do you know what I mean? It's an extra something to have for a gig. So
and it goes down well as well, because I know after we were interviewing you, were actually interviewing Richie Remo, and it's his like safety blanket when he's on stage, that he just has that fiddle and goes a bit wild with it. So but love to see you dancing around with one.
I know, like I've seen Richie play a few times, and like even like it's so inspiring, you know. And I'm like, why am I not like practicing and all? But it's great to even watch. Do you know what I mean? He's great with it. Like he can fairly play it, but I need a bit of practicing to
I believe that I've seen somewhere that Cleona Hagan's actually learning the fiddle at the moment to be able to do that on her next tour. So we'll be watching out for that as well.
Very good. I know, but I love the violin. Like it's probably one of my favorite instruments. Like a lot of my tracks are like heavily based on the violin. There's a lot of violin on them, so I just love the sound of it as well.
And we have had a few questions in for you as well. So we're going to fly through a few of those if that's okay. So one of the questions we've had is, what is your favourite track off the new album?
To be fair, I love all of them. Like the album's called The Country and Me, so like each song's quite personal. Like there's a reason behind why I picked each song. So it's tough. Like it nearly changes every day. Do you know what I mean? But I would say probably Soapbox. It was my first ever #1, so it'll always be special to me. But it's such a different kind of vibe. Do you know what I mean? It's an Australian country song. So it's really quirky. Like it's not something you'd usually hear around here. Like I was in two minds about recording it because I didn't know how it would go down. But thank God it's got a brilliant response. Like so. Definitely.
There's so many different areas to country, isn't there? It's knowing where to place yourself.
I know, like even in uni last week we had an assignment to do, and it was like pick like a role model or something that you want to focus on and write about them. But I picked like or woman in country music, and like just reading all about them and all the different kind of styles and all. So interesting.
Definitely. And how has uni been through the lockdown? Have you had to do some remote learning and things?
It's been tough enough, you know, like the online lectures aren't the same really, like and then it's hard enough to ask questions and stuff like that, but I'm doing all right so far. Hopefully it stays that way. Well, I'm more behaved.
Well, you can sing a tune, so you've got that to fall back on.
I know, exactly. I know.
So another question we've had come through was, are you planning on touring after when you're allowed, I guess?
I'd love to. Like, I would love to. I don't know if it'll happen though, because I am at uni, you know, at the minute. But hopefully, like, I have so much more planned. Like I'm thinking about songs for my next album already, like and I'm chatting to Brian about it and stuff, so that's all ahead of me. And like I'm only 20, so I don't know for this particular album, I'm just gonna try and see how it goes. But definitely in the future, touring would be something I'd love to do. So you never know.
Never know. Fingers crossed.
And we've also had a few questions asking if you do any songwriting yourself, or if it's something you'd be interested in taking your hand to, I guess.
I do a bit. I do a lot of co-writing. I've a great partnership with a man called Jeff Snee, and he lives over in Southport. And I've only met Jeff once in person. I met him last January before the pandemic hit. But we've wrote a good few songs. I've released 2 of them now. But he would do the lyrical side, and then I would do the music side. So like we both have our weaknesses, and so we're like our opposites to each other, which works, match made in heaven when it comes to songwriting. But
it's quite interesting actually, because a lot of singers that I know and I've worked with myself, they would do the lyrical side of things, and then they're like, oh, I don't know what to do with the music part. I mean, Copper, you're a songwriter yourself. Yeah. Do you do both like sides? I
do a few lyrics, but the lyrics don't come to me all that easily. The music, I can write music all day, every day, no problem. It's just the lyrics kind of.
I know, but you know what it is, the lyrics too. Like certain songs, you have to allow yourself to be like vulnerable. Yeah. And I can't do that. I really struggle. Like, do you know what I mean? Because like there's a girl from my town, and you should look her up. She's not a country singer now. She's more just like easy listening kind of. But she's called Clara McHugh, and I mean, her songs are phenomenal. Like you can relate to every song, even if you haven't experienced what she's talking about. Like, it feels so personal, and I'm like, that's such a gift to have. Do you know what I mean? To be able to write something like that, and it is something I'm working on. Like, one of my modules in uni at the minute is songwriting. So it is like each week we have to write a song every 2 weeks. So that's pushing me that way to get like my lyrics out. But it's hard. Like it really is. Yeah. Like, even like,
is it hard to take on somebody else's lyrics though, because that's somebody else's experience and life, and you have to kind of translate that to the public, I guess?
I don't think so. Like, not for me anyway. No. Like that If You Want to Leave Me song, it was like about like say a girl in a relationship, and like seeing like her boyfriend being like really distant, and she's kind of has suspicions of like what he's doing, but she's like, if you want to leave me, just say like, I'm not going to wait for you, kind of thing. So I don't know, just reading them, I literally sang it to the words whilst I was reading it. Like, I came up with that song within 5 minutes. Like, I put the music to it within 5 minutes. I know it's weird, because then like Jeff sent me other songs, and I still haven't got a melody to it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so some things just click.
Like, you get a connection with it. Do you know what I mean? And then you roll off that. Like, even that You Make Me So Happy song, like, some of the lyrics were different than what has been released. So like, I was able to like do like syllables wise and stuff. Like, I was able to change certain words, and then, or if I had a melody, he would be like, oh, maybe change it to this, and that kind of thing. So I don't know. I love songwriting. Like, it's great to be so creative and involved in it. Like, there's no feeling like it when you're in the studio and you're doing your own music. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's great to do covers, but your own stuff is different league.
I can relate to that as well. I wrote a song called Get Gone recently, and it's like, it's about someone cheating on me, and I'm so sad. I want them to go and all this, but I haven't. It's not like a real true to life story or something. It's just like I put my mind in the head of a character, and then I kind of tell the story. So I think that's really fun way to write lyrics like that. It's not necessarily a true to life story, but it's people can relate to it at the same time. So it's kind of it's a fun way of doing it. If you don't want to write about your own, happenings in life and stuff, you just kind of put your mind into a character and go that way.
That's a really good tip, because like, as I say, I struggle being vulnerable. So like, if I was trying to be somebody else, like not technically being too vulnerable, and so that's definitely, I'll take that into consideration. Thank you.
I guess it's hard as well though, because you are only 20 and you've only experienced so much in your life. You then want to be able to relate to people who are like as old as me and Copper.
I know. It's hard. Like I have tried, like, and I have wrote my own songs, but I definitely wouldn't. No way would I release them. Like,
No.
I'm happy with the co-writing as for now, but it's definitely like it's something I'm working on. So hopefully down the line, like the next album, maybe I'll have a few of my own, just independent. But
so
we'll
practice
see.
makes perfect. Keep at it.
And obviously, you've mentioned there that you do co-writing, but what about duets wise? Who would be your dream duet?
Oh, I don't know. Well, female wise, I love Shania Twain. Like, I just love how sassy she is, and even like that song I brought out. Huh?
It's a very popular choice on this song or on this podcast, along with Dolly Parton.
I know. The song, like, I brought out what you get is what you see, and that's like proper, like, sassy, like woman empowering, and I'm like, that's Shania Twain all over. So to do something with her would be mad. But then, see, I love Lady Antebellum's song. There's a song that I would love to do a duet with. It's called The Love I Found in You. Do you know it?
Yeah, I do.
I love that song, and I'd love to do a duet with somebody on that. So Copper, you never know.
I was just going to say who Irish, because you've gone very American. Is there anyone Irish, apart from Copper, that you'd like to do a duet with?
I don't know. Like Lisa McHugh is obviously
she's not Irish.
Oh, well, this is hard. Let me like Irish.
You've been pushing for the Irish ones. A lot of the Irish singers watch this, so you can insult people now.
Chantel Padden's amazing.
Yeah.
And there's so many good people. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to pick. But again, I feel like Chantel's like so sassy too. Or like, she's
a big fan of yours actually, because we did on the live that we did. You were on earlier in the day, and I had her on at the end, and she'd mentioned she'd seen your set and she thought you were amazing.
Oh, stop! I'm all blushing now. No, she's amazing. Like her voice is so powerful. Like.
Yeah, definitely. And it takes every knock with a smile and just keeps going. And I think that that's a lesson for everyone.
I know, it's so inspiring to see, because like to see somebody like as good as her to get a knock, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, what the hell? But the way she's able to pick herself up and just get back at it, like, do you know what I mean? That's what you have to do in life. Do you know what I mean?
Just
no matter what you're doing.
It's not an easy ride, this music crack.
No.
I know my friend, actually, I have a friend that was on the last series of The Voice, Darcy Wilders. Darcy, I went to school with Darcy for all of like secondary school, and we're still great friends. She does the same course as me in uni. So like I've seen it twice in the last few years. People getting on that I know, like, so she got knocked out of the knockouts. They didn't do knockouts this year, but that's when she got put out too, and she took it quite bad too. But it's just all about picking yourself back up again, I suppose, and just seeing what happens next.
Yeah.
I remember watching an interview with Beyonce once, and they said, how does she deal with any knockbacks? And she says she allows herself 24 hours, just one day, where she cries, lies in bed, eats junk food, really processes all the emotions, and then gets up the day after that and she's like, that's it, let's prove everybody wrong. But she allows herself that one day to feel everything, which I think is a really good tip as well.
I definitely, because you do need to let yourself grieve, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's good to be happy, but it's good to be sad too. So
definitely. So this is the point in the podcast where we go over to Copper's Corner. Yes. And he's up in the corner as well. And he's on my screen anyway. He's up in the corner. So Copper, I'll pass over to you.
So this is where I kind of throw some random questions. I don't know if you've watched any of the podcasts before, but I asked things like, say the first question, what was the first CD or song that you ever bought or downloaded, I suppose, for your generation?
It was Cascada, Evacuate the Dance Floor.
Oh, yeah.
Bought it
I love that. I love that, but then it makes me feel really old because I remember going clubbing and that being like really popular.
But I wish I was like old enough to like love through that though. I think music is far better than now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was amazing. I saw her once and it was so amazing, and like she had these furry boots on and everything. I was like, I need some furry boots and hot pants. It was all the rage at the time.
It was class now.
Was it a CD or did you download it, or what way did you get it?
It was a CD, yeah. I bought it in B&M Bergens.
Oh yeah. Good stuff. And if we were to have a dinner party and you were to invite 3 people, alive or dead, from any point in time, who would you invite and why?
You know what? I think about this all the time. This is tough. Like, Dolly Parton would just be...
She's on everybody. Everybody has said. I don't think we've had one guest every couple that hasn't said Dolly Parton. We just need to book her.
She's such an iconic person. Like, she's literally done everything. Like, she's just so iconic. Like, you could not ask her. Do you know what I mean? You know what? I probably would ask Simon Cowell just to suss him out to see what he's like.
Oh, you know what he's like, Joe.
I know, but maybe he's a bit softy underneath. You don't know.
No, he's not. I did a talent show back in 2001.
Here's a story.
It was his first ever TV show, like proper TV show where he was a judge. And he's exactly the same.
Really?
I can tell you some stories off camera, but let's not put them on camera.
Oh, okay. God, right?
Too juicy.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And,
who else?
Yeah, who's
moving swiftly on?
Who else? This is one hard. Go on, you tell me who you should pick for some inspiration because I'm gone blank here.
Oh, jeez. Here all day. What do you think, Joe?
Mine would be Elvis, my first one, straight away. Elvis. Or Daniel O'Donnell. It would be close.
For me, it'd be like Johnny Cash or Elon Musk or like Nikola Tesla.
Elon Musk, that's a curveball.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of keep my eye on kind of big tech and stuff like that and see how things are going. And he's a very intelligent guy and he's juggling lots of balls.
Very rich man. I think he'd pay for dinner, to be fair.
Like, he kind of is up between the first and second richest man and kind of goes back between him and Jeff Bezos. So it's kind of back and forward. So he's incredibly interesting guy to talk to, I'd say. And of course then Johnny Cash and then I suppose like, maybe like Nikola Tesla or something like that. So, you know, these
notice he didn't invite me, Jamie. We went on it. There we go. Nobody ever invites me. I think it's because I just invite myself to things. I just turn up knocking at the door.
That is my hard question, but that's like something you'd really need to think about.
Should we let you think about the third one? We come back to it. So I have this next question. If we're going out having a night karaoke, having a few old pints and having a good old time, and you're handed the mic, and here, Jamie, sing us a song. What's your first song that you sing karaoke?
Adele, Rolling in the Deep.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Go big or go home.
I have before, and I went to Liverpool last year. My sister lives in Liverpool, and we went to the Luffy and I sang Rolling in the Deep. Now, I don't know
the
if it's the best song. Everybody was all, because the boy was packing up and all, my sister's all, no, my sister sings, please let her sing. And he's like, everybody says that.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, please, she's a singer. And then I went down well, but it was a bit ropey, do you know what I mean? It was.
And at least you can add to your bio that you sung at the Liffey as well.
It's always strange in those situations where someone my friend here sings, go up and sing, and you're like, oh no, I'm not prepared.
I hate that. I hate not being prepared. Like even like gigs, like there's a boy like from where I live, and he'll be like, oh, I have a gig in half an hour, will you do it? And I'm like, absolutely not. No way. I hate that. I like to be prepared.
Yeah.
Do you ever have the opposite where people say, oh, I can sing, can I come up and sing a song with you or something? And like they're just terrible when they come up. And you're just like, why did I let them up?
I have had a few people, but you know what? I let them batter on. I sit back and enjoy.
Sometimes that's what's best. Yeah.
That'll be me when I come to one of your gigs. I'll have had a few drinks. I'll be like, Jamie, let me do a song.
Why not? Like I mind even it was worse. My daddy, right? So when I was like younger, I mind we went away down south for like our holidays or whatever, and I can't mind. I think we were in Clarney. And my daddy said, I'm going to ask, can you sing? I was like, please do not do that. And he was like, I'm going to ask. And I was like, don't. Like everywhere I went, he wanted me to be up and singing. And then he had the guitar in the bit and all, and he asked, and then away I sang and all. To be fair, they all look at you differently then. They're like, oh my God, hello, Jamie. And all, I was getting first name business at breakfast. I was all, hi. So
That's good. And what was the last gig that you went to when you could go to gigs? What was the last gig that you bought a ticket to and went to?
oh God, what was that?
Like, what is a gig? I don't remember them.
What was it? Like I hadn't went to a lot of gigs because like I was like out every weekend myself, like again. So
Yeah.
I actually cannot think. I don't know.
It's a hard one. Yeah.
What's been the favourite gig you've ever been to?
You know what? I went to. This is probably the last one. I sang Nathan Carter at Clonmany, summer 2019.
Yeah.
I think that was the last one, and he was just phenomenal. He literally sounds like the way he is on his recordings. Like he's like.
I think he's better singing live than he's recorded.
Phenomenal! Like I couldn't get over him, and he's pitch perfect the whole time.
And dancing around with his broom and still singing, and it's like, how do you do that?
Oh, he's real professional.
Yeah.
He's great.
And what kind of passions do you have outside of music? Because I know music can take up a lot of time, but do you have any other hobbies apart from music?
Well, I used to play Gaelic football, but then I don't have great eyesight. I'm kind of half blind, so I don't play anymore. But I have started like over lockdown. I've started going to PT again. So I really am enjoying like that, like getting back into fitness and stuff.
That's good.
Apart from that, just music, and then just hanging around with friends beforehand or chatting to them,
Or at the moment, just staying in your house.
I know. The odd Zoom call.
Yeah. And what are your desert island discs? So if you're marooned on a desert island, you only had 3 CDs to listen to until you were rescued. God knows how long it'd be, and you wouldn't get sick of them. What would the 3 CDs would be?
Two off my head anyway would definitely be Rumours by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh,
and
very good choice.
It would be I can't remember what you call it, but it's Ben Platt's album. It's I can't remember the name of it. But his songs are phenomenal. Like he's another amazing songwriter, and like on all his tracks you can hear him harmonising with himself and all. And, it's brilliant.
What's the name? Ben Platt, you said, was it?
Ben Platt, yeah.
Okay.
He's making notes now to go and listen to him.
I swear to God, you'll not regret it. He is phenomenal. He's proper groovy. Like, what else? I'd probably something of Dolly's or Shania or something like that.
The greatest hits.
That's it.
That'll leave it job nicely.
Yeah. This leads me to my last question. Do you have any ghost stories for us?
Ghost?
Yeah.
No. I went to a ghost tour one time, but oh my God, I'm useless. I can't even watch. Do you know, like horrors or like any of them? I am useless. Like I will
up in your face.
I oh my God, I'm scared of my own shadow. No joke. I would literally run a mile. So no, not yet. Hopefully not ever.
Yet.
Do you believe in the ghosts?
I do. You know.
Yeah.
Like I was watching a video one day. Holly Boone was like, "Oh, my old house was haunted," and she was saying all these things that were happening, and that was just freaking me out. I can't do it. But hope to God I don't encounter anything in my lifetime, because I genuinely will die on the spot.
You should go back and listen to our episode with Gary Gamble, because we had a whole nother episode of just his ghost stories. He used to live in a haunted house.
Way. Oh
and it was like, we didn't even cover the half of it of what we really... I said that we're going to do another episode for Halloween of just his stories.
He spoke for half an hour about the house, and it was, he didn't even cover it all. He was just scratching the surface. So it's fantastic. If anyone listening who hasn't heard that, go back to the Gary Gamble episode and have a listen to it. It's just story something else. But you've many years ahead of you still. You plenty of ghosts to see. You never know. What's that behind you?
I swear to you, I'm scared of my own shadow. No, definitely.
Oh, bless you. So obviously, people sort of watching, where can they find you on social media?
I'm Jamie Donnelly Music on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm Jamie_Donnelly on Instagram. I recently
Have you got to TikTok yet?
No, I haven't gotten to TikTok. I don't even really watch it. You know what?
It's addictive.
My sister would watch away at it, but I get tagged in the odd thing and I would watch them, but I don't actually go on the app.
Do it, because it's actually like a massively powerful way for musicians to get out there. Because Facebook and Instagram kind of hide you away unless you're paying for ads and stuff. But TikTok is not like that.
I know.
So it's definitely worth to think about.
I know that the album's live. I have more time in my hands and the launch out of the way, so I must get on it.
It's definitely, as you say, it's been working well for musicians, and you've started earning money off it, haven't you, Copper?
Oh, well, I think one of my
wild
songs...
amounts.
No, not really. I did a cover of Tennessee Whiskey 2 years ago, and for some reason it got picked up on like 50,000... No, sorry, got picked up on like 300 different TikTok videos and just played a few 100,000. So I've made like $4 from it, which is not a lot, but it's something.
It's still $4.
I have one of my tracks too, Jealous of the Angels. I did it. I think there's over 100 people who use the sound in their videos. There's 100 videos or something I sang the last day. But it's mad, like the way people can just find you. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
And obviously you've got the new album out, so where can people get the new album, Jamie?
At the minute it's just on my website, jamiedonnellymusic.com. Hopefully I'll try to get it into bigger shops, but at the minute it's just jamiedonnellymusic.com.
Is it available to download?
Yes, it should be available on iTunes and Spotify and all of them digital platforms.
And it's called Country and Me, is that right?
The Country and Me. I have it right here.
Show it off.
Ready to go now.
Here she is.
There's the thumbnail right there. That's what we'll use.
Oh my gosh.
Brilliant. Well, that wraps up our episode with the lovely Jamie Donnelly. Jamie, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been great.
Thanks for
and we wish you the best of luck with your album, and can't wait to get a listen.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll talk to you again in the future, hopefully.
Hopefully. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jamie.
Bye.
So that was our interview with Jamie Donnelly. That was good crack. Did you enjoy that as much as I did, Jo?
Oh, I did, definitely. She's just, for somebody so young, and, she's so passionate and she's got so many great stories. And, I'm pretty sure we could have her on again in 6 months and she'd have a whole load of new stories. She just seems to just keep going and going. So
exactly.
It'll be really exciting to see what she comes out with next.
And it was funny when I listened back to the episode when I was editing it, I realised that she said her first CD that she ever bought. She said it at the start of the episode. And then for my Copper's Corner, I went and asked her again, what was the first CD you ever... And none of us copped it either.
You're so focused on that Copper's Corner, aren't you?
So focused on it, yeah. But yeah, that was great interview. But for now, we'll talk about our singles of the week, I suppose. What do we have an official name for this? I can never remember what we call it.
Track of the week.
Track of the week. There we go. Track
Simple.
of the week. So yeah. So last week I suggested the Dead South with "In Hell I'll Be in Good Company." To you to listen to, and to Joe to listen to. So what did you think of it, Joe?
Well, I mean, it wasn't the most, pleasant of titles, was it? Straight away, I thought, oh God, what am I? I'm sure you all know that he's a bit of a rocker and things. And I thought, oh gosh, what are we getting into? But I mean, it was dark. It was that sort of moody sort of feeling of. Yeah. Again, it wasn't quite. It wasn't a specific country song, was it? But I enjoyed it. I think I was in a bit of a bad mood when I listened to it, which is always quite good. But it was different. It probably won't stay on my. No, it probably won't stay on my list. But no, I mean, that's the whole thing with this, isn't it? We're going to hear things that's our cup of tea, things that aren't. But it's really good to just see those different genres of country.
Yeah. The song itself is kind of real, kind of folky, bluegrassy type country. There's a lot of like whistling and clicking fingers. And
how old is it? I didn't actually look.
Oh, it's only last maybe 5-6 years. It's not. They're like a current band. They're still going. It sounds old and vintage.
It sounds like real 60s sort of. Yeah, that sort of Waylon Jennings sort of feel.
Yeah, exactly. But It's great. I think it's a great little song. I've actually started playing it, just a little quick version of it on my live streams, just because I love the style of it and whistling along to it, and it's just a class little catchy number to me anyway. But yeah, not your cup of tea. That's all good. But what was the song that you suggested that we listen to?
So I suggested to you, which possibly isn't your cup of tea either, but the wonderful Jerry Guthrie, and the song was "Come Home to You." What do you think?
I liked it. I liked it very much.
Did you?
Yeah. Did you say Jerry listens here to this show?
He does. He does.
I definitely say I like it, Jerry. It's very good, Jerry. No, it's no, like without him listening or knowing whatever we're saying, it's actually a very good song. It kind of reminds me of The Dance by Garth Brooks. Not to say that it's a rip-off or anything like that. It's just the vibe of it. It's just the kind of sad, longing feel to the song. And then it's really passionate in the choruses. Has a nice, very nice sound. This production is very nice. Well done. And I listen to it.
You love that production, don't you?
That's all I'm about, Joe. You know yourself. I have to have a good production. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I'll definitely stick that on the playlist. Speaking of which, I'm going to start a playlist for all these hot tracks. And I'm going to call it something or other. We'll keep you posted on that. We'll figure that part out and we'll put it on our social media.
You can't think at the click of a finger, can you?
It's all on the fly. But I'll make a playlist. We put all these hot tracks on it so people can, listen to it on Spotify. But yeah, we'll look to our socials for that. We'll put that up there. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed that Jerry Guthrie song. And
sorry, Gigi.
Gigi. But yeah, I know he plays a mean guitar as well. I seen him rocking out, I suppose you could say. But yeah, very cool. And I definitely want to hear more from him. I'd like to go see him live eventually when things open up, yourself. But
definitely. You and me both.
yeah, definitely. But for this week, what did you suggest that we listen to?
So for this week is a new song. It's literally only come out this week, actually, and it's by Chris Young and Kane Brown, and it's called Famous Friends.
It only came out this week.
It did. Well, I think it was an album track before that, but the actual proper single and music video came out this week. Okay. Nice new one.
Very good, very good. Chris Brown, what's his name? Not Chris Brown.
Chris Young and Kane Brown.
We're not listening to Chris Brown. Chris Young and Kane Brown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. I don't think I've heard much of either of them, so I'll definitely give that a shot.
You might like it.
Yeah. And I suggest this week, it's a band from Texas. It's called, I'll just get the name up in front of me because it's a mouthful. I don't want to get it wrong. It's Devin Cable and the Rangers. And the song is Odessa Skies. And it is, I won't say anymore. It's actually, I like it. That's why I suggested. But I'll let you make your mind up about it anyway. I will come back and get your thoughts on that next week anyway. So that's Odessa Sky by Devin Cable and the Rangers. But I suppose this kind of wraps up our episode this week, Joe. We'll do the whole social media bit. So where can people find us on the socials?
So we are on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok, and we are at Folkin Around Podcast. We're also on Twitter, which is Folkin Around Pod. And you can also email us any sort of suggestions, questions, anything like that at folkinaroundpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. Oh, I meant to say as well, if you have any ghost stories, send them on to us and we'll read them out.
Yeah, definitely.
Like my ghost stories.
And where can people find you, Copper?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, all the usual places, Copper Kelly Music, and a website, copperkelly.com. And you can find all my links there as well. And I'm on Spotify, I have music on Spotify, Apple Music, and anywhere you get digital music and so on. And yourself, your own personal stuff, Joe.
So I am on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok at Welcome to Jodie Land, and I'm also on Twitter, which I don't really use, which is at Welcome to Jodie.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same with Twitter. It's kind of a whole mess of a place I don't really want to dip my toes into. So
I feel like I'm addicted to enough social media.
Yeah, there's so many already. So, but yeah, that's. And do you want to tell us who are we going to talk to on next week's episode?
So next week's episode, we have the lovely Ben Troy. So I think it's his first interview he's done in over a year. So it was good. He had lots to talk about.
Yeah.
As always, just want to say thank you for always tuning in, and also a big well done to Copper Kelly last week. If you listened in, I wasn't around for the intro and outro, and I thought he did a really good job, maybe a bit too good of a job. I was a bit worried. I thought,
sorry, no, I made up for this week. I made a terrible job this week, so.
Having me back, you were so used to being by yourself. That's what it is.
Yeah, no, it's no bother. But yeah, that's thanks very much for listening this far. If you're still listening to us, fair play to you. And and if you want to help support the show, you can go over to buymeacoffee.com and you can buy us a coffee, or we're going to start a membership thing going on with bonus episodes and lots of bonus goodies. So have a look over there if you want. No pressure. You listen free if you want us. No bother. We're going to do this anyway for the crack. So might as well have a bit of fun. But yeah, that's the end of our episode. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week. But for now, bye, folkers.
Bye.